I think the labor market is the linchpin for real estate in our region. We need to see the labor market improve. We need to see the unemployment rate come down. We need to see payroll job growth pick up. You know, we've seen some improvement, but really not enough to give a boost to the housing market. High unemployment continues to put foreclosures into the pipeline. That is eventually, after almost 2 years of the judicial process here in Florida, get back onto the market, and that puts downward pressure on prices. On the other side, the demand side of the market, payroll jobs, if we can get those to grow, then that will create higher demand. As it turns out now, you need to have a job to get a mortgage. So more people working means more potential buyers. So I think the labor market really is at the core of the turnaround in real estate. I don't know if there's a golden mean as far as job growth is concerned. I mean, I think we need to see fairly robust job growth. I think we need to get above 2.5% before we really start to see some measurable difference in the housing market. You know, we've lost a tremendous number of jobs in Florida, and climbing out of that hole is going to take many years. So it's a process that will unfortunately take a lot of time, and I've referred to in the past the labor market as the scar that's left over on our economy from this economic and financial trauma, and unfortunately it's prominent and it's going to be slow to fade. What we see now, this low 1% type growth, is not going to do it. Ultimately, I think when we get to 2013, 2014, we're going to start to see growth in the 3 to 4% range, and I think that's really when we'll start to see some of those external benefits manifest themselves. Well, I think again it's imbalance between supply and demand. We just continue to see transactions improve, but prices are still drifting lower. And I think the foreclosure problem, the time it takes for those homes to get back onto the market and ultimately absorbed, which has to happen. We have to get to the other side of this crisis, and that requires all these foreclosures to get back on market and be absorbed. So that's the big concern I have, is that supply is going to continue to be one step ahead of demand for housing, and that's going to continue to put downward pressure on prices. Now, prices aren't plunging, but they are drifting lower, and with every dollar that the value of a home declines, that's $1 less in wealth that homeowners have here in the region, or another dollar that they're further underwater in their mortgage. And that, of course, feeds back into consumers' spending behavior. And we get this bit of a vicious circle of feedback between the housing market, consumption, and labor markets. Well, I think distressed properties weigh down on prices. You almost have this bifurcated market where you've got sort of normal transactions that are occurring at a certain price, and then these distressed properties that are occurring at a lower price. And so you've got challenges with appraisals and comparables, and you've got a foreclosure in the middle of a neighborhood that is going to impact sale prices on homes that are not distressed. So I think really the big issue is in terms of weighing down on prices, and I think it's also a stigma problem at this point as well, is that homes don't have the appeal that they might have had 5 or 10 years ago before all the trouble in the housing market, and these foreclosures, these empty houses with brown lawns and green pools really continue to push that image, and I think that has an impact. I think there's a number of things to be optimistic, and we touched upon the census results. I think population growth in Orlando will continue to be strong over the next decade or two. I think that Central Florida, the I-4 corridor, is the new breadbasket in Florida. This is where job growth and economic growth will be the strongest in the state. So that's, to me, is a sign of optimism, more of a longer run one, and trends that are already in place. In the nearer term, I think, the medical city is finally poised to, deliver on all of its promise in terms of job creation and boosting the economy and providing a shot in the arm for the housing sector as well. And I think in 2012, we'll start to see those efforts really bear some fruit.